please take the next 30 minutes to watch this video because it's going to change all of your Ramadan. Now listen, Habibi, I have no idea if this video is going to be 30 minutes or not. I'm planning to make it under, but I'm going to give you the best knowledge and the best things that I have on how to make this Ramadan the best Ramadan. So if you're watching this in 2024 or 2025 or 2026 or 2036, it doesn't matter. It's all just the same stuff. If you apply this, trust me, you're going to have an amazing Ramadan. Now look, every Ramadan, my life completely changes. Completely changes. I either make the most amount of money I've ever made the entire month of the year, or just like I have like a huge breakthrough in my life. And so for me, I like to think that the only reason that happens is because of these two things that I do. So every Ramadan, I try to focus on these two things. But what's so sad is that every single video that I watch on Ramadan and how to basically optimize your Ramadan, I never see people talk about these two things. They either talk about one of them and leave the other, or the opposite. But listen, like, because these two things truly changed my life, I feel like it's like my duty to come here and just share this with you, because like it's only like I have to do it, bro. I have no other choice. And trust me, like when you watch this whole video, you'll see that like it's actually worth gold. Like even me saying this that it's worth gold is under promising you, bro. So like that's how powerful it is. And also on top of that, I kept getting questions of people telling me, it's like, you always say that you make the most amount of money in Ramadan. You always say that you have unlimited energy in Ramadan. You always say it's like your every day your life changes in Ramadan. But it's like, how do you do that? How do you do that? So in this video, like I want to give you like everything, literally everything I have, just so that you'll, by the time you finish this, it'll, hopefully this is going to be like a, if this video stays on the internet, it's going to be like a, what's it called? Like sadaqah jariyah, like something that's going to be continuing to give me hasanat. And that's beautiful. I love that. So listen, the very first thing is that you have to understand that in Islam, you have 5 pillars, right? There's 5 pillars. Everybody knows about the 5 pillars. By the way, nothing I'll be talking to you about here is basics. Like the basics, you should already know the basics. I'll be kind of like going over the basics, inshallah. But basically, every single pillar in Islam, it has 2 dimensions. It has an outer dimension and an inner dimension. Now, mostly people focus on the outer, but they always neglect the inner. Like for example, if you're praying your salah, right? When you're praying salah, you're doing the outer, like you're standing up, you're doing ruku', you're doing sujood, but no one ever talks about the inner. Like, what are you supposed to be feeling on the inside? So if you actually look here, I made a video right here, this one that says once you pray correctly, the shift immediately happens, what no one tells you. And everybody loved this video. Like even, honestly, even me, like I'm actually so proud of this video. Like I'm proud and I'm happy and all this, I'm grateful for it because it helped a lot of people. And so in this video, I was basically talking about there's an outer dimension and there's also an inner dimension. And so even if you look at the comments, it's like people are actually benefiting from this. Like, I mean, that's actually crazy. A lot of people are actually benefiting. So alhamdulillah, bro. But the only reason why a lot of people are benefiting from this is just because I'm talking about something that no one really talks about a lot, which is like the inner side of salah. So salah has an inner side, an inner dimension. Your shahada has an inner dimension. Your hajj has an inner dimension. Even the zakat, but also the fasting. The fasting, bro. You know, everybody talks about the outer dimension, and it's like you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't have sex and all that stuff, but no one ever talks about the inner. Who's talking about the inner? Like you do realize, like you're fasting from food and water and everything, but you're also fasting from a lot of the things on the inside. You do realize, like even your thoughts, bro, your thoughts. You're supposed to be fasting from your thoughts. So in this whole video, we're going to be talking about that. But once again, I told you, the basics, I'm not going to go over the basics. You should already know the basics yourself. Like for example, it's like people usually ask, what are the things that break your fast? When are you supposed to break your fast? How are you supposed to fast? All those things, I'm not going to be talking about it. I'm not going to be talking about it, bro. These things, like you can just go on YouTube and watch all of these. I'll be giving you things that no one really talks about on YouTube. So anyway, so here we have everything about the outer dimension. That's everything we're going to be talking about. So we'll start with the outer dimension. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is the food cure. So look at this. I have literally four bullet points right here. The food cure, what are you supposed to be eating? This one, once you master the nafs, you ascend. Like, how do you master the nafs on the outside? This one, you're actually way stronger when you're fasting. I'll let you know what that means. And also how to recover, because a lot of people, their sleep schedule gets messed up in Ramadan. So how do you recover? Think of this whole video like a course, by the way, literally like a course. And then after this, I'll be talking to you about the inner dimension, which is fasting from like anger, fasting from your thoughts, fasting from desires, and even like fasting from fear. You know, a lot of people, they usually have fear of poverty, fear of death, fear of losing like loved ones. I'll tell you how to fast from all of those things. Your true nature is not one that's like affected by these things. Fear is not supposed to be something that affects you. And Ramadan's here so that you don't get affected by that. Also, because remember, just so you know, in this whole video, we're gonna have a lot of like side tangents. So I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I have no idea, but hopefully under 30 minutes. So you do realize, like after Ramadan, when you go through Ramadan, after it, what you're supposed to be feeling is that you're supposed to be feeling guided. And this is in the Quran, because Allah says is that when you finish the fast, when you finish the days, you're supposed to like say Allahu Akbar to Allah, like Kabbirullah, ala ma hadakum. Allah says you're supposed to like say Allahu Akbar on what He guided you on, which is basically the fast. So the whole point is that when you finish the fast, after it, what's the end result? The end result is that you're supposed to be like guided. And so what does guided mean? A lot of people don't even know what guided means. Guided means that now you're seeing life from a point of view of light. And this is super important. From a point of view of light. And it's almost like a gift. Because you see like the word hidayah, like usually when I say to someone like, did you give me a hadiyah? Hadiyah means like a gift, like a present. So you're getting a gift when you do all these things. So Allah's allowing you to see things now from a point of view of light. So now it's like you know what's bad, you know what's good. And not just that, like you know exactly, like if you're trying to make decisions, you know exactly what's good and what's bad. Like even your personality, you talk like you're talking from a point of view of light. Like you're literally like a ball of light. Look at a baby, right? A baby is in its most natural form. And because the baby hasn't been like diluted or getting dusted by the life, right? So a baby, when you look at it, is basically just like a ball of light, which is so beautiful. So that's what you're supposed to be becoming once you finish the whole fast. That's why there's an outer dimension and an inner dimension. So anyway, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is the food cure. By the way, bro, I told you we're going to go on so many tangents. You do realize in Ramadan, once you do it properly, like I truly, truly believe, and don't even believe, like I know that if you have a disease right now, I don't want to make a claim on YouTube because then this video would be demonetized or even just taken down. But if you have a disease, fasting is supposed to fix it. It's supposed to fix it, bro. So if you have, like, for example, diabetes, I don't know, like just any disease, right? It's supposed to fix it. That's how powerful this entire month is. So you got to start off with the food cure. This is one thing that every single Muslim messes up on. We're going to be talking about that. Now listen, you guys have seen me, right? Look at this. I drink Red Bull. Don't tell me no, Red Bull, you're not supposed to, we're boycotting. Red Bull is not even in the country, just so you know. We're not boycotting Red Bull, bro. But Red Bull is not healthy, and I know that. But Red Bull is the only thing that I consume that's unhealthy. I don't consume anything else that's unhealthy. My diet is usually good. It's just Red Bull is like I don't know, it's like a guilty pleasure, right? But in Ramadan, I don't take any Red Bull. I don't take any Red Bull. I don't take any caffeine. I don't take anything. I just literally go full raw. So what I'm trying to say is that in Ramadan, I try to cut out everything that's bad. So I completely change all my diet. So my diet in Ramadan is not the same diet that I have on the other days outside of Ramadan. But you know, if you ever go, for example, here, if you go to like a grocery store, right? There's usually an aisle that says healthy food. Doesn't that imply that everything else in the grocery store is unhealthy? Basically, everything in the grocery stores that you see is unhealthy, bro. It's not good for you. So any food that you see in the grocery stores in Ramadan, I try to cut all of that. And I truly mean all of that. The only food that's good for you is the food that you can find in farms. And so the food cure that I'll be showing you right now is basically like the diet of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And this diet, once you do it, like you should be able to come out of Ramadan in a state of health because your body, this whole diet, what it's going to be doing is that it's going to basically reset your body. It's going to bring your body back to its natural form. And so if it's back to the natural form, the body naturally is not in a state of disease. It's not in a state of disease because remember, disease, even just the word, dis-ease. Like you're in a state of dis-ease, which means you're not in a natural form. That's not your natural state. So with this diet, you're supposed to go back to the natural state. And also realize, man, your health is a business, bro. Your health is literally a business. And the food that you're eating right now from the grocery stores, it's keeping you a recurring customer. In Ramadan, try to change that. So for me, what I do, again, I cut out everything. I reset my body completely. So what I do is that I try to eat food that's filled with light. Remember, one of Allah's names is An-Nur. So Allah is literally the light, An-Nur. So I try to basically only eat food that's closest to the light. So for example, I eat a lot of meat like outside of Ramadan. But in Ramadan, I try not to eat a lot of meat. Why is that? Because when you take meat and then you're cooking it, it's away from the state of light. But then, even like vegetables, you take a vegetable and you cook it, then you denatured it. Like it's not in a state of light. But when you go back to eating food that's fresh and raw in a state of light, it'll completely change you, especially if you're fasting. Now, what I also mean by eating food that's close to a state of light is basically this. So, like no canned foods, because all those foods are different now, like it's been changed. Any food that's been changed is not in a state of light, just so you know. So, like seedless fruits. I told you it's the sunnah diet, right? Which means like fruits is something that you're going to be eating. But like seedless fruits, that's not good for you, bro. Also, no cooked vegetables. Again, listen, it doesn't mean that those things are bad for you. These things are not bad for you. Like seedless fruits, cooked vegetables, I eat those. They're not bad for you. But in Ramadan, try not to do it. Because it's like, yes, we're trying to have good bodies and stuff, but in Ramadan, we're supposed to be focusing on spirituality. So focus on the food, your spirituality is going to be high, your heart is going to be strong, and if the heart is good, everything else in the body is going to be perfect. So just for 1 month, you're only going to have this diet. And then also no rice. I know if you're a Muslim and you're watching this, you're going to be like, Habibi, what? No rice? Yes, bro, no rice. No table salt, no meats, no processed foods, no sugar. Now, when you look at this whole list, you're going to be like, bro, what did you even leave us, man? There's literally nothing left to eat. And I get that. Some of you guys are going to be like, even like no meat. You do realize, even if the meat says halal, even if it says halal, it's not truly halal, just so you know. Like, it is halal, sure, I get that. But when you go and see the factories that say halal, bro, the animal doesn't live a proper life. It doesn't live a good life. And then when they go and they slaughter it, bro, they're literally like, Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. They don't shoot them, they obviously slaughter them. But it's like, Bismillah, Bismillah. It's like, where's the presence? Where's the presence? Where's like the love? Where's the love in the slaughtering? I know it's like an oxymoron, but where's the presence in the slaughtering? There's no presence. So halal is good, but try to eat halal and tayyib. You know what that means, right? Halal tayyib. It just basically means it's like you're eating the best form of halal. So the best form of halal is that if you take an animal in a farm and you're raising it properly, like you're raising it in a state where it's living a good life and it's not really having a life of fear or like a life that's like uncomfortable, for example. And when you're slaughtering it, not killing, when you're slaughtering it with the name of its creator, and it's like it's not dying in a state of fear. You get that, right? Because if the animal, Habib, if the animal first of all is living in a state of fear and then it dies in a state of fear, this energy, this fear energy, is stuck in the flesh. It's stuck in the body. And then when this food comes and they put it on your plate and then you're eating that, do you wonder why every single moment you're feeling depression for no reason? You're feeling fear for no reason? It's because of the food that you eat, bro. You do realize every time I fast, my body completely changes. Also you, bro. Like naturally when the human fast, the body completely changes. You start having more control over the desires. You start basically having more control over the heart, the emotions and the thoughts, everything. And it's because you're not eating the foods that change your mentality, that change your being. So if you're going to be eating meat, you can do it in Ramadan, but just make sure that the animal is living in a state that's proper, healthy, and when it's slaughtered, it's not getting slaughtered in a state of fear. And the name of Allah is like truly being recited on it. Otherwise, sure, it's halal on paper, but is it really halal? Tayyib? It's not. Now again, outside of Ramadan, I eat halal. Doesn't matter. But like in Ramadan, because your body is gonna be so sensitive, bro. Your body you're gonna have super high sensitivity on the energies around you. So you'll feel these things. And then because by the way, this whole video is you having a good Ramadan, which means having high spirituality, which means coming out of this month completely changed. Completely. So do these things. I know it might sound hard and stuff, but do it. Everything you'll be watching in this video, try to do it. You'll see a complete change, bro. But anyway, so this is the first thing, right? And again, I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan, I still eat them. It's just in Ramadan, bro, and just Ramadan. So what I try to do in Ramadan is basically have like a frugivore diet. Now, raw milk, for example, bro, raw milk is fine, man. Just go and drink raw milk. It's all good. Not like, again, raw milk, not like the pasteurized milk, because the pasteurized milk, is it really in a state of light? It's not in a state of light. It's been changed. It got heated. It got denatured. So it's not in a state of light. But raw milk is in a state of light. And don't come here and tell me it's like, no, but bro, I talked so much about raw milk. Don't ask me it's like, but raw milk is going to give you disease. But I'm lactose intolerant. If you say those things, you never actually drank raw milk. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to drink raw milk. So much so to the point that he had a hadith where it says when he drinks the milk, he likes to go and rinse his mouth just because he doesn't like the fat staying in his mouth. Only raw milk does that. Normal milk in the groceries, normal, right? In the groceries, it doesn't leave the fat in your mouth. If you drink raw milk, it's actually going to leave the fat in your mouth. So Muhammad ﷺ used to drink raw milk also, plus in the past. That during those times, they weren't like heating up the milk because it has disease and all that stuff. They didn't have that type of stuff. But anyway, so I would basically eat fruits, vegetables. In terms of grains, you can eat wild rice. Quinoa is good. Brazilian nuts, walnuts, and all that stuff. It's all fine. For oils, avoid any seed oil. This is so big. Every seed oil, don't eat it. Don't eat it, bro. And also, like, you can use avocado oil. You can use coconut oil, like extra virgin olive oil, all those things. And also, bro, like, for the next 30 days, this is the best diet to have. Trust me, this is the best diet to have. Because with this diet, what you're going to be doing is that you're optimizing your body for minerals. You're basically looking at minerals. If you want to look, like, think of it from a scientific point of view, it's just all minerals. When you're eating the fruits, fresh fruits with seeds, by the way, fresh ones, raw ones too, you're eating that with the vegetables, and then those things contain water, right? And this water is hydrating your body very nicely, but it also contains minerals. So you're mineralizing your body, you're hydrating your body, which means that now your organs are going to be working like more efficiently. And if your organs are working so efficient, your body is just going to be optimized, bro. Your body is going to be optimized. Like even your skin, my skin is starting to look bad because I've actually been eating very unhealthy, not gonna lie, because I'm out, right? I've been eating out all the time. But your skin is gonna be so flawless. Like your energy is gonna be so pure. And bro, so much so to the point. You know Dr. Sebi? This guy right here, Dr. Sebi. So this is the guy that talks about this diet. You could call it like the alkaline diet, but this is the guy that talks about this diet. And this guy, what he claims is that the people that go on this diet, even diabetes, it gets cured. Eczema starts falling off. Because the whole point of this whole diet is that you're optimizing minerals, right? Like you're giving your body the minerals that it needs, and then the organs are going to be working properly. On top of that, when you're fasting, you're cleaning the body even more. So it's just like a whole, like it's a whole detoxification process. And then with this diet, you're actually going back, you're bringing back the body to its natural form, which is that in a state of light. Because remember, it's like the creator, bro. The creator, when he created you and me, he created us in the most perfect form. And Allah says that in the Quran, created us in the most perfect form, which means that now, if we're having disease, if we're getting sick, then that's not natural. That's completely not natural. And don't tell me like, oh, but a lot of people are experiencing those things. They're having diabetes, they're having high blood pressure and all that stuff. That's not natural, bro. So when you go back to bringing your body back to its natural form, like when you recalibrate, when you reset it, you'll notice that all these things just naturally go away. Your body's so smart, naturally those things are just going to go away. So here I was going to include in the Discord that I have, like the best herbs, the best vegetables, and even like things that can help you clean parasites in your body. But I'm like, obviously health should be free, right? So in the description, you should see like a list of the best herbs, the best fruits, the best vegetables, and things that can help you clean parasites to consume. So you can just go and buy those and you consume them. So what's so funny, by the way, is that this diet, it's so much cheaper than everything else that you're going to see. Like, so many people spend so much money in Ramadan, they eat so much food on things that harm them. And then on top of that, when they go and when they pray Taraweeh and then when they pray Qiyam al-Layl, their salah is not even that good because the body's getting destroyed. When the body's destroyed, the spirit is not going to be good. So when you have this diet, it's going to heal you up. It's going to fix everything, bro. Trust me. Also, like I am going to include things about parasite cleansing just because so many people have parasites in their body and they don't even know it. Like, this might shock you, but trust me, like if you're eating the normal food that everybody's eating, you have parasites. And then when you clean those parasites, like you'll even see it's like your mentality is going to change because your thoughts, your personality is being created by the gut. You do realize the gut is like a second brain. So much so to the point that in the Quran, it's like there's three nafs. There's nafs al-ammara, nafs al-lawama, and nafs al-mutma'inna. So nafs al-ammara is the one that's like gut consciousness. And this is like the animal self. So when you're putting all these things in your gut, you're changing your personality. So when you're putting bad things, that's why people have horrible personalities, man. It's like you just look at them, you don't even hang around with them. But then when you clean the gut, you rise above it. When you clean the gut, you rise above it. That's so beautiful because you clean the gut by the food that you're eating. And then when you're doing that, you'll notice that even the salah that you're praying is going to be so much more beautiful. You'll have so much more khushu'. You'll actually feel like you're ascending because your body, you're ascending in the body. So when you're cleaning it, now you're going to start ascending even spiritually. Also, one last thing. A lot of you guys are going to be like, Habibi, but we're going to lose all our muscle when we're on this diet. First of all, 30 days, bro. It's just 30 days. Don't worry about it. Second of all, you're not going to lose muscle, bro. You're fasting. You're fasting, which means if you're fasting, proper fast, you're increasing your human growth hormone. When the human growth hormone is increasing, it's basically like a dose of steroid. Literally, it's like a natural dose of steroid. And especially if you're still exercising, like you'll keep the muscle. Bro, this one time, or not this one time, twice actually, in Ramadan, I'm like, I want to do as many push-ups as possible. So I did push-ups and I did 120 push-ups in a row, non-stop. Even I was shocked. I'm like, usually I can only do 50. But with this diet, bro, I double, not even, I more than doubled it, bro. More than doubled it. And that's what the human growth hormone does to you. Because when it's increased, like you'll notice that even your strength is so much stronger. And that's the next thing that we're going to be talking about, which is you're actually way stronger when you're fasting. I know I skipped this one, but we'll go back to this one. You're actually way stronger when you're fasting. When you're fasting, your human growth hormone is increasing. Once again, the HGH. When this is increasing, literally think of it like a dose of steroid. Like if you go to the gym and you're following this proper diet and you're hydrating yourself. By the way, in terms of water, try to focus on just drinking spring water. If you don't have spring water, like even mineral water, here in Dubai, I'm just basically ordering this stuff because it's glass. But like I'm ordering this stuff because I just voice cracked. Because I'm looking at like you can't really see it. Can you see it? Yeah, like this stuff right here, the minerals. If the bottle has the minerals showing, then it's good and you should drink it. So in terms of water, like basically focus on water that has minerals, basically spring water. But then in Ramadan, I try to mostly focus on body weight exercises, like not actual weight, but just body weight. So what I would do is that I want to get up and show you, but I'll just sit down. It's okay. I don't have to get up. Basically, a bunch of push-ups, pull-ups, squats, and abs. Like the abs when you do the sit-ups, and that's it. That's all you should be doing. Push-ups, squats, pull-ups, and sit-ups. That's all you need. You do this at least 4 times every single week. You'll be good. You'll retain the muscle. You might even gain even more muscle. The reps are going to be increasing a lot, and you'll notice it's so much easier to do it in Ramadan just because your body's so light, and you'll be able to do so much more push-ups and pull-ups. Because some of you guys, by the way, you guys don't believe me when I say I did 120 push-ups in a row. But trust me, I did, bro, because you're so light when you're fasting. And you can do push-ups so easily. So this is the thing. You're actually way stronger when you're fasting. So in terms of exercise, just only focus on those. Also, what you'll notice, because outside dimension, inner dimension, when you're moving the body, the more you move the body, the more it's like you'll have movements within the heart as well. Like spiritually, you're going to be moving too. So in Ramadan, try not to just lay down on the couch the whole time. Literally the whole day, what people do is they would just sleep the whole time and not do any movements. In Ramadan, try not to do that. Get up, move the body. You'll notice that your heart is going to be moving too. But anyway, so once you master the nafs, you ascend. I already told you. So there's the gut consciousness, right? The gut consciousness. This is, you could say, it's like the nafs al-ammara, the consciousness that basically demands. It's like the one that gives you urges. Like I'm hungry, I have to go drink or eat. I'm thirsty, I have to go drink. I'm this, I have to go do that. You know what I mean? So in Ramadan, you're supposed to actually ascend from this nafs. You're supposed to get up from this nafs. So here's the thing. You'll see right here, there's an ayah, or a whole surah actually, that says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, like the soul and who created it. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. Basically, it means the nafs, it has its impulsiveness and its discipline. The one who purifies it succeeds, and the one who destroys it loses, which means if you're able to purify your nafs, you tame it, you'll succeed. So in Ramadan, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Bro, you'll see that every single person that talks about like self-help and all that stuff, all of them are trying to do this exact same thing right here. They're trying to tame the nafs, but they don't know how to. They wrote a bunch of books about it that explain nothing, that do nothing, because they don't know this. They don't know this whole stuff. So what you're supposed to be doing is that you're supposed to do this. So there's an ayah that says, وَكُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا, like eat and drink, but do not exceed. إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. Allah does not like those who commit excess. That's how you control the nafs. The nafs, it always wants excess. When you control it, when you control the fact that it wants excess, Not only will you gain Allah's love, but you'll also tame this nafs and you'll ascend. Also, what's so beautiful is the word yuhibbu, right? Yuhibbu, like love. This word is very synonymous or like close to the word habba. Like there's hub and then there's habba. They're the same word in Arabic. Habba is like a seed. So when you take a seed and you plant it, what happens to the thing? It starts growing. The thing ascends, which is so beautiful because if you're trying to attain Allah's love, that's how you ascend. And how do you attain Allah's love? It's by not committing excess. So in Ramadan, this is going to be so like, it's going to be easy and hard to do because what's going to happen is that iftar is going to come, you're going to have to go and eat. You're going to see all this food. If you didn't follow the first step, you'll see all this beautiful food they used to eat back in the day. And then the parasites within your gut, they're going to be telling you, eat, Habibi, eat. And the nafs is going to be like, eat, Habibi, eat. They call you Habibi, right? And then you're just going to be eating a bunch of food. More than you're going to be full. You're going to be like over the full limit. And then you're just going to have, like, you're just going to be lazy. You're just going to go and sit down and feeling lazy. Right now, you actually committed excess. You're not supposed to be committing excess just like that. So what you're supposed to be doing is that when the food is there, tame the nafs. Just tame it. Tell it, no, Habibi, because you call it Habibi too. No, I'm not going to eat more. I'm only going to eat what's going to fill me up and that's it. You do realize, Habibi, you do realize that every single human, they actually eat more than they need. Because when you eat food, if you just wait 15 minutes, you'll notice that you're actually full. Because from the gut to the gut is going to tell the brain that now I'm full after only 15 minutes. So most of you guys, when you eat some stuff, you're already full. You don't need more. But then you keep eating more and more, and you don't give enough time for the gut to tell the brain that now you're full. So if you just eat slowly, with presence too, if you eat with presence and you're slow, and you're actually blessing the food that you're eating, and you're doing dhikr while you're eating the food, you're saying Alhamdulillah, even like dhikr on the inside, because you do realize like iftar is actually a form of ibadah. When you're waking up for suhoor, like sahri, that's a form of ibadah. And then when you're actually eating with presence, not only is the food, and intention too, not only is the food gonna give you so much more blessings and barakah, but also like you won't be committing excess. And when you don't commit excess, what happens? إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. The opposite is true. Allah loves the ones who don't do israf, who don't do excess. And then when you gain Allah's love, you ascend. Because now you're controlling the nafs. That's how you ascend. When you gain Allah's love, you ascend, bro. So here's the thing. You really don't need that much to be full. If you just eat a small, like get yourself a small plate. Just eat the fruits and the vegetables that you need and that's it. And then this way you're going to tame the nafs. And because you're eating consciously, you're going to wait 15 minutes. And as a result, you'll know it's like, dang, I'm actually full. I really don't need that much. Like babies, first of all, babies, they don't need that much to eat and still have a lot of energy. I have a nephew who's so young. He only eats a little bit, and then you see him like running around. He doesn't need to eat that much to have energy because, like again, babies, they know everything. Babies know everything. And also, just one last point on how to recover. So, if you're going to be following the food cure, truly following it, and then you master the nafs, like you don't eat in excess, and then you're actually exercising because your human growth hormone is going to be high, you'll notice that recovering is going to be so easy. Because you do realize sleep, this whole thing about you only need 8 hours of sleep, it's a lie, bro. That whole thing is a lie. You don't need 8 hours of sleep, just so you know. You can actually function on at least 6 hours of sleep, or maximum 6 hours of sleep. Because, and I'm saying that especially in Ramadan, because in Ramadan, the only reason why the body is sleeping is because you're having lots of BS that you're putting in your body. So if you're eating proper food, and you're not making the body exhausted by digesting your food, so like spending a lot of energy, then you won't need a lot of sleep. And especially like if you're actually praying and you're meditating and your mind now is like clear and it's healthy, you don't need a lot of sleep. So you'll notice that in Ramadan, if you're doing everything right, 3 hours of sleep is going to be enough for you to recover. It's going to be enough, like literally enough for you to just like have a lot of energy. And it's because you're not spending a bunch of energy throughout the body on silly things like digesting foods that are super heavy. You're not going to be eating super heavy. As a result, the body is not going to need a lot to recover. So in terms of like recovering, yeah, man, like 3 hours of sleep, 3 to 6 is going to be more than enough for you to fully recover. So this right here is the outer dimension. Now we can talk about. I mean, this is pretty long. I'm not gonna lie. Now we're gonna be talking about the inner dimension, which is even like more beautiful. All right, now in terms of the inner dimension of fasting, so here we have everything about the inner dimension. So you're gonna be fasting from four things basically. You'll be fasting from desires, anger, fear, and then your thoughts. Now listen, before I even tell you about all these things, you guys have to understand like the whole month of Ramadan, bro, is so beautiful. Because think about it. In the month of Ramadan, like you're fasting from things that are halal for you. Food, water, like mating with your wife, all those things is halal. But in Ramadan, it's becoming haram for you during the daylight hours, right? But what's so beautiful is that you have to also understand there's three levels of consciousness. So I talked about this before, especially like in the previous video. Bro, I talked about this in the previous video, and even non-Muslims, they used to come to me and they used to be like non-Muslims that are known, by the way, like famous people. They used to be like, bro, like that video changed my life. Like I've never heard anyone talk about this stuff in Islam. So look, in the Quran, there is three levels of like nafs. There's nafs al-amara, nafs al-lawama, and the nafs al-mutma'inna. So three things. All that it means in simple terms is that nafs al-amara, the one that tells you, the one that's basically like the animal self. So the gut consciousness is the nafs al-amara. It's the one that tells you, go eat, like you need shelter. You're thirsty, go drink. You need to go procreate. So this is the gut level consciousness. Then there is the nafs al-lawama, the one that's like the guilty consciousness. So that's like the mind consciousness. It's the one that needs to like, it needs validation from people. It needs to like look beautiful. It needs to, like for example, in terms of the face and all that stuff, it needs to get attention from people. It's the one that has desires, the one that has all these thoughts, the one that's the, if you did something embarrassing one time in your life, you'll be spending your entire life just thinking about that, just basically feeling guilty about it. That's the nafs al-lawama. And then the last one is nafs al-mutma'inna, the one that's like the tranquility self, which is basically like the heart level consciousness. And so in Ramadan, actually all of Islam, and in Ramadan, the whole goal is that you're supposed to be ascending. You're supposed to go and have this heart level consciousness. Because once you have this, think about it too, it's like you are not the body. Like the gut level consciousness, the mind level consciousness, those things when you die, they're going to be in the dust. They're going to be basically buried. So that's not you. The real you is the soul. So the heart level consciousness. You're the soul. And so in Ramadan, you're trying to like ascend to basically make the soul stronger. So when the soul is like getting activated, you'll have dominion, literally dominion over the mind and the heart. Not the heart, I mean like the gut. And so that's why you're fasting from things, first of all, like the simple things that the gut needs. No food, no water, no procreating. The gut needs those things, but you're fasting from them. And so when you fast from those things, you basically attain some control over this part of yourself. And then once you get control over this part, you ascend. And then it's like the mind, right? The mind is so hard to attain control over. So for example, desires, anger, fear, thoughts, all those things are in the mind. And in Ramadan, you're supposed to like fast so you can have dominion and control over these things. And then once you have control over this and this, then the heart is going to be so expanded to the point that people feel it. When people talk to you, they'll feel like your heart is expanded. It's like you're not talking from your mind anymore. You're talking from the heart. You don't need to basically sit down and think about what's the next thing that I need to be saying. There's no such thing. You'll just be like, it's almost like you're a cup of water that's overflowing, bro. People will feel that your energy is like overflowing. It's like, bro, I just want to be around this person. And what's so beautiful is that this is how Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, or Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, used to be like. Like, everybody would love to be around Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And it's because he attained this. He went over the gut level consciousness. He went over like the mind level consciousness. He was just flowing from the heart. So this is what Ramadan will do to you if you focus on the inner dimension. So for example, if we're fasting from anger, listen, Habibi. Everybody in Ramadan, they're always like, oh, we gotta pray so much and all that stuff. I get that, yeah, like pray a lot, that's beautiful. But who is the one being that prayed so much? So much. Iblis, bro. You know, Iblis, he used to say that on earth, there's not a single place on earth that he didn't do sajda on. But why did Iblis, the being that did sajda, like prostration on every single spot on earth, basically did a lot of like ibadah, a lot of worship, why did he become outcasted? It's because of anger, bro. But why did he get angry? It's because of arrogance. So in Ramadan, In order for you to stop anger, like we're going to be talking about anger first, not desires, but in order for you to stop anger, you have to stop the arrogance that you have within your heart. Because when Iblis basically saw Adam alayhi salam being created, first thing he was thinking is that, man, I'm better than that guy. And he basically got mad. So this arrogance that we all have within us, man, in Ramadan, we're supposed to stop that. We're supposed to cut that. Also remember, it's like the reason why they say you won't enter heaven with not even with like a single ounce of arrogance in your heart is because you can't ascend, bro. You can't ascend if you have arrogance within your heart. And it's so funny. It's like all of life is paradoxical because it's like if you're trying to go high, you're supposed to first go down. You're supposed to humble yourself, bro. You're supposed to go down first. It's actually crazy. So you'll notice all the time that the people who get angry the most are the people who have they have like the biggest arrogance in their hearts. So in Ramadan, it's like the best time to literally sit down with yourself and just shine the light of awareness on the parts within your body that get you angry. Like just think of if you ever got angered or angry throughout the day while you're fasting. By the way, if you're angry, your fast goes away. So just anyway, if you're ever getting angry throughout the day while you're fasting or even before you're fasting, like try to sit down and think about why did I actually get angry? Like why did I get angry? And then almost always you'll know it's because of arrogance. There's no other reason. It's because of arrogance. But it's like, okay, like why am I arrogant in this? Why am I arrogant in that? And this is what tafakkur is, by the way. This is what, like Allah says, like the ones that do tafakkur succeed. So you're supposed to sit down and do tafakkur, like do this contemplation within yourself. So literally sit down at night, especially, and just review everything that's going on here. Why did I get angry? And on top of that, there's going to be people that say in Ramadan, like the shaitan is basically like chained up, which is true. But then you still see those same people getting angry, which is so funny because it actually exposes those people because shaitan is not the one that's getting them angry. They're the ones that are getting angry without shaitan. So this should give you like more of a realization that there's some stuff that you need to be doing to fix yourself, to heal yourself. If you're getting angry, it just shows that you need to be doing some more oil checks in your body. Like there's something wrong with the car, right? So you got to go and like fix it. And again, it's like the best way to fix this is just to humble yourself. Like you do really, there's a guy that basically said, he was like, I climbed I forgot what mountain it was. Like I climbed a big mountain and then I looked at the view and I just realized how small my problems were. So when you look at the creation of Allah, you'll realize you're actually like you as the body is so minute. It's so small. What is this arrogance for? Even if you've done like so many great things in your life, what is this arrogance for? You haven't done anything. You literally haven't done anything. So then when you're sitting down and you're reading the Quran and then you're reading about everything that Allah has done and everything that Allah has basically like the nations that were so great and they disobeyed Allah and Allah destroyed them. And then when Allah tells you, go out and look at the world that I created, and then you're looking at it and it's so big, bro. The world is so big. It should show you it's like, I'm actually so minute. It shouldn't make you feel like you're insignificant because you're not insignificant. But it should just show you that there's a creator out there that's running my life and Allah is running it in such a beautiful way. And if I just give up to him, if I just submit to him, that's what basically Islam is. If I just surrender my will to Allah, this arrogance is supposed to go away. It's supposed to go away. Remember, there's actually a guy that said, like you did a lot of worship, but the devil also did a lot of worship. The devil did everything that the human does in terms of worship. But the only thing that's going to separate you from the devil is you being humble. And if you're not humble, there's no difference between you and the devil. The devil also knows who Allah is. The devil knows Allah more than you, bro. So the only thing that's going to like be difference between you and the devil is being humble. So if you're humble, anger is just going to go away. Now, in terms of fear, listen, the only reason why people usually have fear is because there's no light. There's no light. And you'll know what I mean. So it's like, if you're having fear, for example, there's only like a few fears that people have. So like a fear of poverty. If you're having a fear of poverty, it's because you don't have enough trust in Allah. So again, it's like when you actually sit down and then you look at even just the bird, how Allah provides for the bird, it just makes you think it's like, bro, if a bird is getting provided for so easily, how am I not going to be provided for? That's impossible. That's literally impossible. And also you'll see like these are all the types of fear people have, which is poverty, the fear of poverty, fear of criticism, like being criticized by people, fear of getting sick, fear of loss of love, like losing someone that you love, fear of death, fear in old age, all these things. These are all the fears that people have. And one of the biggest ones, by the way, is fear of death. When you think about it, it's like, you're fearing death, I told you there is gut level consciousness, and then there's also mind level consciousness. And so nowadays, before back in the day, people used to do a lot of work, right? Like if they had to basically like get milk, they would go and milk the cow. Nowadays, if you want milk, you'll just go on your phone and just order milk, and that's it. So people used to use their bodies a lot. So if you're using your body a lot, there's not much activity going on in the brain, in the mind. Nowadays, we're not using our bodies as much. So we're sitting down a lot, which means a lot of activity is happening in the brain, in the mind. So these six fears right here, it's almost like they've been 10x. So like you have more fear of poverty, more fear of death and all that stuff. But in terms of fear of death, man, there's this saying that says, die before you die. And basically all that it does is that the ego that you have, right? You're not trying to kill the ego, you're trying to tame it. But when you kill this arrogance that you have within your heart, when you kill it and you go over it, like you expand over it, you ascend over it, basically all that it means is like you ascend over the mind level consciousness to the heart level consciousness, you'll realize that you are not actually the body. You're not the mind. This activity that's going on here, that's not really you. So in Ramadan, this is the best time to realize this. So when you sit down and you do this practice that I call muraqabah, I don't call it muraqabah, it's just called muraqabah. So when you're starting to do like this muraqabah, when you're observing what's going on into your mind, when you're observing like the feelings that are happening within your body, you're shining the light of awareness onto all those things. So then when you're realizing that the mind is not the one that's you, the body is not the one that's you, you're dissociating from it. So now you'll have control over it. So this mind that you're having, this fear that you're having, you'll be the one on top of it because you'll realize that's not actually you. The real you is the soul. And this is something that it's easy to do now for me because I've done it for so long. But for people when they've never done this, it's so hard to do because they actually feel like I don't want to like de-associate from my mind because I am the mind. All these feelings that I've been having, this hatred that I have towards people, this fear that I have towards things, all that thing is me. All of those things are me. But when you dissociate from it, you're dissociating from a lot of the things because it's like you've known yourself for so long, and now you're just like you're divorcing it, and that's so hard for people. But when you do this shift, right here, it's like this, right? Like this is basically you. Then, like this is the mind, and this is like the soul, I guess, like the awareness. But then when this awareness goes like this, like you'll be aware of the mind. But this mind right here, like it's almost like this, because this mind does not want this awareness to go away. Because once it goes away, the ego or the mind is going to feel like it's actually dead. And in reality, it really is. Like it truly does die. Because now it's like, well, the me that I've known for so long, or that I thought was me, is now gone. And the only way to do this, by the way, is just in Ramadan when you're sitting and you're meditating. It's just meditation, bro. You're just sitting down and you're being aware of what's happening here, and you're like being aware that Allah is watching you right now. When you're doing this constantly throughout Ramadan, first of all, the power of this is going to be so powerful, and then the fear that you constantly have, you'll ascend over it. Fear is only there because light is not there. But when the light comes, falsehood goes away. Remember, fear is all false. Fear is false. It's not real. I mean, what is it? Like they say fear is basically false evidence appearing real. So it's false, bro. It's not even real. But how do you like show that it's actually false? How do you know that it's actually false? It's when you bring the light. So then when you bring the light of awareness onto all those things that you're fearing, it's just gonna go away. Especially fear of poverty. This is what's keeping people broke, keeping people in poverty. So then once you bring this awareness onto it, and then you realize, like you just have this mental shift that Allah has been taking care of you and is always going to be taking care of you. All this fear is just going to go away. And then lastly, like fasting from thoughts. Bro, the biggest realization you'll have is when you realize that you are not the thoughts. Your thoughts, stop believing them so much, man. You know, people believe their thoughts so much. They would have one thought about something and immediately think it's like, oh, that's the right thing to do. I know I usually say it's like speed and all that stuff. If you're working in business, you have to be focusing on speed because speed is going to help you make more money and all that stuff. It's true. But when I'm talking about speed, I'm talking about when you get inspiration, immediately go and act upon it. But those thoughts that you're getting, like the waswasa, when you're getting this waswasa, first of all, the best thing to do is to say, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم, because you do realize like this waswasa, it's actually sounds. These are sounds. You can't hear them with your ears because they're at a different frequency. So you can hear them in your mind, but they're actually sounds. So when you say, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم like the one that's all hearing, the one that's all knowing, min ash-shaytan al-rajim, they just go away. They literally go away. It's that simple. So say this, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم, and they're just gonna go away. But in Ramadan, you want to, you have to be fasting from your thoughts, fast from anger. Anger actually invalidates the siyam anyway, so fast from it, and also desires. Again, what the beauty of it is that all of these things, especially desires, in Ramadan, bro, you're fasting from things that are halal. Once again, if you're fasting from things that are halal, the things that your gut level consciousness needs, you're gonna ascend. And on top of that, when you are breaking the fast and you're eating in a state of dhikr, like you're mindful, you're drinking in a state of dhikr, like you're mindful, even if you're procreating from a state of dhikr, like you're mindful, you'll actually ascend over these things that are low, these things that you can only find in the lowest life, which is dunya. So what we're doing is that we're using those things that the gut level consciousness needs and we're abstaining from it. And then we're using those things that the mind level consciousness needs and we're abstaining from it, like desires, like anger, like fear, like thoughts. We're abstaining from it. Then what are you left with? The heart level consciousness. So now you'll notice when you go and you start praying Taraweeh, you start praying Qiyam al-Layl, you start praying your 5 salawats, you'll notice that these salawats are going to be coming from a different place. They're going to be not coming from you in a state of like the gut level consciousness or like the mind level consciousness. It's coming from a state of you where you're actually expanded. And I told you before, right? I told you about all these things. Like these are the emotions, right? So when you abstain from anger, when you abstain from all these things like fear that the mind wants, you actually ascend. And this is the beauty of it, bro. Once you understand this whole energetic chart, I told you like the people that are always like they're always living from a state where they're like joyful, passionate, they're always grateful. How are these people not going to enter heaven, bro? How are they not going to enter heaven? That's why they say it's like you can't enter heaven in a state of arrogance, because arrogance keeps you low here. You're low. But then when you go up, and this is what Ramadan is going to be all about, man. You're going to be going up, and then when you're hanging out right here, when you're just having like so much gratitude for life, even if nothing's happening in your life, you're just having a lot of gratitude in your life. You'll notice that now this is the time when Allah is going to be putting more things in your life that you're going to be more grateful for. I mean, think about it. If you're walking around and then you hit your toe, right? You just hit your toe and you start getting hurt, and then you start getting angry, and then you start crying about it. What's happening now? You'll notice that throughout your day, you're going to have more things that are coming to your life that you cry about. Why is that? Because now you're hanging out right here in a state of anger and a state of revenge over the couch. But then when you ascend over all these things, when you ascend, and then you go right here, literally right here, bro, that's when you'll notice that everything that happens in your life, like things start coming to you that are good. People that are lucky, by the way, they're always here. Always here. People that you love, just by meeting them once, they're always here. So you'll notice even if you're traveling, for example, and you're in the state where it's like you're always feeling grateful, more good things start coming to you. So you'll have more good things to be grateful about too. But this is the beauty of it, man. So this is literally what Ramadan is going to do to you. You'll actually start ascending, and that's that's so beautiful. So listen again. We're not just fasting from food and all that stuff. You're fasting from all your desires. You're fasting from the anger. You're fasting from the fear, and you're fasting from the thoughts. And so, in order for you to do all of this, is just to do this practice, man. Do the practice that like muraqabah. Sit down throughout the day. There's actually a adhan that's happening, which is pretty beautiful outside. So just sit down and just be aware that stuff is happening in your mind, man. And be aware whatever that's happening in your mind is not the true you. The true you is not limited in a head. That's not really you. The true you is not limited in a gut. That's not you, bro. The true you is the soul. And then when you realize, I am truly the soul that's hanging out in a body temporarily, even when you do die, you'll be so expanded. I was actually talking about how, like even Medina, like the city of Medina, it's like it feels so blessed. I'm like, why does it feel so blessed? It's because, bro, like those people that passed away in that area, their souls are still there. Allah says that those people that die, they're not really dead. They're still alive, but you just can't see them. So you actually feel like their souls are there. The energy there is so nice. You won't find that energy anywhere else, because I mean that's the area that those people walked upon, right? And those people have done all these things. They fasted from desires. They fasted from anger. They fasted from fear and thoughts. So anyway, so this right here is the Ramadan. Now there's no specific routine. Sleep whenever you want. Just make sure you actually sleep. At least like you recover, right? Eat the food that you eat, bro. Again, follow the diet that I told you is gonna help you ascend. And be aware of these things. Be aware that you actually have like a gut level consciousness. You have the mind level consciousness, and what you're supposed to be doing is basically ascend over these. And Islam is here to help you ascend over these. Because remember, it's like Islam. What is it? You're submitting to Allah. You're submitting to the will of the Creator that created you. So when you're submitting, you shouldn't even be having like muscles that you're contracting. Like the muscles in your body, don't contract them, bro. Don't resist. Just submit. Literally surrender. And then when you do this, like naturally, you'll just ascend, and that's the beauty of it. Like even if you think about like Laylatul Qadr, bro, like Laylatul Qadr is like literally when Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was like ascending, bro, and that's so beautiful because how did he ascend? Because he'd go through all these things. That's why Laylatul Qadr is in Ramadan, and I mean, and that's it, bro. I hope this whole video was helpful. If it was, bro, just let me know.